BitShares is a world-class blockchain like Bitcoin with a digital currency platform boasting enterprise-level scalability and throughput with separations of power and self-governance baked in. Need the power of a blockchain with the stability of a dollar? We invented it and tested it for 3 years. Want to make a loyalty token, coupon, or shares in your business? We have you covered. Wish to add world-class development? This tech can fund your work. Whether for an everyday entrepreneur or computer-savvy code guru, BitShares provides tools to empower a world of unapologetic innovators to wield and share value with a level of freedom once thought impossible. Meet a community of such innovators every Friday at 2 p.m. UTC, led by Chris Herring and Fuzzy, to play a role in the evolution and advancement of this state-of-the-art project. Welcome to the BitShares revolution. You just leveled up.
Today, we would like to talk about fee reductions, also about the updates from Stan, virtual reality, and augmented reality, the new Shark Tank game. I think that's going to be quite amazing how BitShares is going to play into that. We're also going to talk about whale shares, blockchain explorer for BitShares. I'm really excited to see what is happening in the last couple of days and how Alfredo updated the new blockchain explorer. I'm still looking forward to get a link for that, and let's see how that will look like. Today, I also would like to give a short update about BitShares Munich for everybody. I think that is also quite interesting for everybody. We have a couple of good news here, and that's also what I would like to discuss today. Fuzzy, should we get started with the fee reduction?
I would love to get started on that fee reduction.
All right.
So we know that the price of BitShares has increased significantly over the course of the past just month, really, that it's been skyrocketing along with all of cryptocurrency. And because of that, the fees need to be changed because those fees are denoted in BTS value. So that means that when BTS rises in price, it doesn't make the prices stay the same in terms of like dollars and people's fiat. So as they see the price of BitShares themselves growing, the transactions themselves are also going up significantly. I've heard some people complaining about a lifetime membership being upwards of $500 now, maybe more. So this is a problem. Now, I will say at the same time with a caveat that BitShares' problem with transaction fees currently is very, very small compared to Bitcoin's, especially considering the scalability that BitShares offers. But with that said, it's still something that the community and the committee have been talking about fixing. I hope that kind of gives an overview for those who are new.
I haven't been online a whole lot this last few days, but I thought I saw a post somewhere within that time frame here and there about the fees, the fee reductions being approved and it's in place now. Is that not correct? Did I misunderstand?
Are they in place now, Tom? You would have probably been one of the ones who would see it first, being a witness.
Well, I haven't been tuned into that aspect of my online stuff when I've been able to get online. Mostly I've been in touch through this time through my mobile phone and Telegram, so I don't have a full picture of what's going on. So I could be wrong. Maybe it hasn't been put in place, but that's what I thought I saw.
I can tell you I'm on the committee,
and
we voted in a proposal to reduce all the fees the day after. It was just the day before yesterday, I think. It became approved.
Awesome. And
is it active? That's what I was thinking. It was active as well. Is that the case, Jonathan?
Yes, it was an approved proposal for reducing all the fees across the board.
So that brings up the question: when it is once the committee votes and it's approved, when does it actually go into effect in the blockchain? Once that vote has taken place and approved,
after the maintenance interval.
Very good, thank you.
Well, glad to see that update. Thank you to the committee.
Yeah,
Did the committee? Go ahead.
Sorry, Thomas. So basically what we did is we adjusted the prices according to the last price increase of the BitShares core token. So now I think it's 80% discount back to the regular fees or costs that we all know and love. So we reduced that.
It's a 30% discount, not 80%, 30%. So the fees, because we have started the new fees while we were a little higher, and we have agreed to to set up the new fees on 1st of June, and the price went down a little. The actual fee in US dollar terms is now about 70% of where it should be. So you get a 30% discount, or 20%, something in that range. So currently fees are a little lower than they should be.
What I was going to ask was, did the committee discuss the interval at which you'll be reviewing fees in the future? If the market becomes more volatile, will you increase your... I know it's a lot of work, so that's why I'm asking whether you've even talked about a schedule for doing it or not.
Technically, we have most of this stuff scripted already, so the committee could run this like in an automated way every week. But I think I would need to review all of that code and see if it still works as it should. I think we should go into some interval, like every month to the first, we should consider having a new fee installed.
If some of this development money that the Hollywood Hero program stimulates starts coming in a big way, do we have any idea about priority-wise whether or not a USD-based or other XDR-based or any other type of more stable reference for fees established? Do you think there's any priority to actually code that in so it can be, so that the fees are a little bit more automated in terms of their maintenance?
It's certainly a possibility, I would say, but at this point, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to automate that thing. One option we could also use or have as a combination with that is to make parts of the operations rate limited. So basically have free transfers, have free trading, and have other operations cost a fee. In that case, I would rather stick with the BTS as a fee because that's the token that the shareholders are interested in, because we still want to have a DAC, a potentially profitable DAC for the BitShares shareholders. There's a lot of variables that need to be discussed before we can actually put our fingers into coding things. Anything is basically possible, but I don't think that there's a consensus on how to go forward right now.
All right, thank you, Xerox.
I think in the end that will be a very valuable thing to have hard coded, though, something that is automated and the people can see the code and they can see that that's how the decision is made, and that the committee really just sways and changes things whenever there's a big reason that might be otherwise unforeseen that might come up. Kind of adds in my mind to the concept of it being a DAC, you know?
Agreed.
Well, I think we can already talk about the different ways how we can automatically adjust the fees, but I think it's still a little bit too early to really to build a system that does it automatically, because I think, as you all know, BitShares is still on a very early stage and our upward potential is still a lot. So I think right now it would be a good part to say, like, okay, we do it first manually, and then we just collect more experience on it, and then move to a more automated system, the more information together.
Makes sense. I'm personally just stunned that there are platforms like Waves out there that claim to do what they do but don't do it as well as BitShares, and they're still succeeding quite well in the market. It tells me, in my mind, that the market doesn't quite understand the value of the decentralization of some of these key aspects of BitShares.
T-Bone is writing here that he says it would be nice to replace spam prevention fees. So like create and cancel orders with rate limited transaction fees, but for the rest, why not simply have the fee updating script run automatically every hour or so? That is maybe a good idea to say, like, for the main fee, so the main risk that could come with very low fees, that we should manage these manually.
Well, that is exactly what I actually wanted to try to make a point here, that the most important fees are actually those that should actually be free, if you can think like it's like and this is something that the shareholders need to think about. What is the actual value proposition of the exchange? What kind of feature is useful for earning a revenue for the BitShares platform and thus the shareholders, and which of those are actually shouldn't actually require a fee because it's important to bring in more users and more usability. It's always a play between asking for too much of a fee and for having a barrier of entrance for people that are interested in using it.
Yes, I think maybe one idea possibly for committee members is to possibly post what they think on their own, what their fees should be. And that way people, maybe as a part of selecting committee members, would consider which members they might prefer based on what they're thinking along those lines, whether certain fees should be free and certain should be low or high.
Like the driving philosophy behind what they're thinking, and so they can kind of understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. And I think and I think Xerox's point is very important, right? Because these are the fees that that come into the DAC. So it's having everything free, has also other effects. So I think it's important to think about how you think. What is the value prop as a stakeholder? What's the value proposition? So would now be a good time to talk about the next topic. Was that Block Explorer?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the new Block Explorer because Alfredo has been working on it. I remember talking to him in Telegram, and I know that he asked about Crypto Fresh and if we needed a Block Explorer, and of course I was like, yeah, a Block Explorer would be a great thing, and I wasn't sure if he was going to go along with it and do it or not, but apparently he has been doing this for not very long, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maximum a month. And he's already got one up and running, and you can find it. Let me go ahead and get this for everybody. It's at http://BitShares-explore.io, and then :9009 for the port. So it's going to be very interesting to see where we go with this new Block Explorer, but it's nice to have a second Block Explorer because of some of the jokes and the memes that have been coming up with Crypto Fresh occasionally needing to be refreshed and rebooted because it sometimes goes down, but it's nice to see that we're starting to get new development from people like Alfredo.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so kudos to you, Alfredo. And thank you too.
Yeah, it looks really good. I see there are 4 operation types listed. Are there more than those types, or are those the categories that a bunch of smaller grained operation types subcategories go into?
Oh yeah, there are approximately 45. But I'm curious as to maybe for Alfredo to ask, perhaps why are they limited right now to 4? And perhaps they're just the dominant ones right now.
It's a good start. It's nice. I like the colors. I like it's very simple, very obvious, and easy to operate. So I think it's a great start.
So I think he typed in that, yes, there's going to be all the types will appear.
Well, since it's called a type, it leads me to believe it's a super group, or it's a category as opposed to the individual operations within those types. Is that correct?
I am fairly certain that, yes, what you just said in the latter point was correct. It's an aggregate of all of the operations within that type/category. And Alfredo said at the moment, at least with regards to that operation type data on the website, that is just demo data at the moment.
No, currently, they've got even a way of adding charts in here, it looks like. So he's going to be able to put charts with the most recent blockchain data on here too. Yeah, it's a really cool. I'm glad to see that we've got people who are working on this stuff now, and I think that Alfredo was actually part of the BitShares Munich team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's good to see that those guys are still trucking it.
Yeah, and also a note to Alfredo, Ox, if you need something to support that, to support this alternate explorer, let us know and we can talk about it.
Great point.
Alfredo is currently
link
being.
again for
Go ahead, Chris.
what was actually the link again for the Blockchain Explorer for the new one, so that we have it on the podcast as well? Do we have the name of it? Okay, so it's BitShares-explorer.io 9009. So we still need to have a good domain for it.
Well, then, if this becomes a, in fact, I guess technically this is a community-sponsored work effort. I'm not certain of that, but Alfredo is working for the blockchain now. So if his efforts here are part of the work that we're paying for, then it would be nice to have this linked off from the main side once it gets to the point where we're ready to put it in the wild.
Agreed.
I think there is a worker paying him, if I'm correct on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm thinking correctly on that.
Well, there's a work right now for free that is still running and managed by us, by BitShares Munich, but that worker is almost expiring, so I think that would be a good opportunity to start a new worker and give that now basically fully to Alfredo's management, and then he can also continue working on all the explorers and stuff.
I agree.
I asked Fury saying all witnesses could run the Block Explorer. That would be really cool to have it as part of the wallet, you mean?
Well, one possibility, and I'm not sure if that's what the idea was suggested, but possibly witnesses could run it on their own separate hosts, so that, or alternate VMs, so that if one is down, somebody can swap and jump over to another one.
Yeah. So we have resilience because of the witnesses kind of acting as a backup for each other.
Oh, Zurich, did you want to speak to that point?
It's all fine. The only thing that we cannot do if we set it up that way is SSL, because every host needs to have we could use subdomains and do the load blanks that way, but SSL doesn't combine very nicely with multiple people running the same domain. But well, for a block explorer, you don't really need SSL because all the content on it is open anyways.
Right.
So you could have them on different subdomains, kind of as mirror domains of any, of the original, but you can't use them, allow them to all share the same domain, is what you're saying.
Well, isn't it, without SSL, would it be possible for a man-in-the-middle attack to basically somebody put up a fake data rather than the actual source? So I think SSL still makes sense.
That's a good point.
Yep, good point.
Well, I think this is a great start.
Okay, do we have? I think that's very cool that we're going to have a new blockchain explorer. That's definitely needed, especially since CryptoFresh has so many problems. Let's continue to the next topic. I would like to learn more about the virtual reality and AR. Is Stan here to give us a couple of updates here?
No, doesn't look like it.
He's not here. We could. I can always ask him to attend. He will gladly attend if we ask him to. I'm pretty sure that he didn't know that we were going to be talking about it today, or else we probably could have gotten him. But
I think most people have seen that video that he posted. That was his hour-long talk, hour and a half long video. Actually, that's very good. I thought it was excellent myself.
Yeah, whenever they do the visualization of transactions per second, giving BitShares a Bitcoin 7. Giving Ethereum, I think they gave him like 25 to be nice to them. And then they show kind of like, how the Federal Reserve notes model, like how it shows how many Federal Reserve notes are printed every year and things like that, like almost like that kind of visualization, only it showed Dash was the best next to BitShares, behind BitShares. And it was Dash. They had 23 transactions, I believe it was, per second, and then it shows kind of like the orangutan, and then it shows the horse and buggy, and then it shows like cars, and then it goes like way ahead to the to like Star Trek. It shows these high technology space vehicles, kind of to show like how far ahead BitShares really is in terms of scalability and transaction speed.
Yeah, and keep in mind that this is what Dash's Lightning Network,
which is kind of mind-boggling, right?
Well, when you compare it to Bitcoin, it is Lightning, but when you compare it to BitShares, it's a turtle.
Yeah, it's kind of insane almost to be sitting here with all of you guys today, realizing that 4 years ago barely anyone knew who the hell we were, and now things are starting to pick up, and people were starting to realize, wait a second, these people might have been right all along, that their technology is what we need.
And we have some really heavyweight, high-powered marketers that are out there and energized to get this done too. So I think that's the kick in the butt that we really need to get this into high gear here.
Agreed.
And not all of those marketers have good intent, though. Be careful.
Well, this is true. I mean, we there's something that we're kind of losing to a certain degree, and it warrants a discussion. Probably not here, but we have a culture, and it's a hybrid culture. We have lots of different interests, lots of different perspectives, and if we have a community, we have to kind of identify that culture and hold on to it. And I think that's something that we should really be addressing. Probably not here in Mumble, but at some point we really should get into that and understand the core values and figure out something. Like, I think a good way to start on that would be Bytemaster's blockchain constitution, and maybe we should get a movement here, a subcommittee to discuss that and come up with a BitShares constitution.
Yeah, one of the things that we have all these governance features, but it's something that we really haven't taken the time and really as a community sat down and said we agree to these principles and to adhere to them.
Yeah, well, it's one thing to state what the principles are, but it's another to get some kind of agreement and enforcement of it, which is, I think, a harder thing to achieve.
Yeah, I think if we have an agreement and being a participant in the blockchain, and by being a participant, you're signing something saying.
A terms of service kind of contract, I guess, is what you're getting at. If you create an account, then you're agreeing to these terms. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, essentially, because then you can kind of arbitrate it outside of, in the court of law, wherever your jurisdictions are, if something does happen, right? And you have the blockchain kind of there to provide data and information that would be key to any judicial proceeding
Kind of gone off astray on the agenda. What's next on our agenda?
Well, the next topic we could go through is we could go talk a little bit about the whale shares.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll give everybody a quick update. Whale shares is meant to utilize the BitShares ecosystem and drive more volume into our DEX using Golos and Steam and all these other potential Steam clones and chains that might emerge from it. Whale shares will work with, and the intent is to enable people to summon a whale to upvote them using BitShares based coins by sending them to the Whale Shares wallet. They get 1% per upvote, or 1% upvote per coin. So if they send 100 of them plus the transaction fee, of course, they will end up getting a 100% upvote on the linked Steemit post or Golos post or maybe Yao Yao post that they have posted and would like an upvote with. And the intention of this is to leverage Steam to help BitShares and to leverage BitShares to help Steam. And we already have a Whale Shares Discord group I'll give everybody access to. But we actually have some really cool people who've already joined up. And we just started this thing a couple days ago, and it's already starting to get huge because people are so interested in finally being able to have the power of a whale to upvote the things they care about and to be part of a community that helps do that. So we have whaleshares.net. Please feel free to check it out, everyone. But the only way to get whale shares right now is through our competitions, our contests, and through joining up to these hangouts. So yeah, Whale Shares is just the beginning. Whale Tank will be coming later on.
And it's basically going to be a new platform where you can basically buy tokens on the BitShares blockchain, and then with that token for a specific project, you can manage your Steemit account, right, to upvote certain topics.
Yep, it lends itself to the concept of something called DKP. Whenever I used to run big gaming communities, we had something called Dragon Kill points. They were points that you earned when you got together in a big group of people to work on a project that required a large number of people. So the groups generally were 40 people. So they started getting smaller later on, but even that, they were 25 and 20 people. And to get a decentralized group together on a weekly or even a daily basis at times to accomplish tasks that need to be accomplished is a difficult thing. So point systems were built for these MMOs to really expand the community and create this new level of an economy on top of the already existing economy. So we're really just, what we're doing is we're mimicking that for Steam-based chains. Anywhere where you can power up and you can store your shares to get Steam power or voting power in the system, you'll be able to use whale shares, or another whale might have shares in the system if we don't have a bunch of tokens in it. But those shares will work to actually get people to do things within the ecosystem of choice, like, for instance, Golos and Steam. Just real quick side note, I've found that after doing the calculations last week, at the market cap that it was at last week, which was after the drop at the lows of Steam, I'm going to be able to pay out approximately $140,000 a year just with one of my accounts in upvotes. So these whale shares are going to represent that much value over the course of a year that I can give out to people. And it also means that you're going to get reputation and seen more, right? So with that said, if you guys are interested in participating and helping out and earning some, I'll make sure that we get you guys the link to the Discord before we leave the Hangouts today.
That's really cool, Fuzzy, and that you're organizing this. So look forward to that.
Thank you, Talkinator. Yeah, I'm kind of pumped. I now have the resources to pay for stuff to get built, so we're going to build some epic stuff
together with Golos and also Pure Plays.
I could see Pure Plays tokens maybe somehow working with it. I will say, however, that I am always looking for anybody who wants to write content about graphene-based chains that exist in our ecosystem, especially things that are covered in Beyond Bitcoin Hangouts. I'm looking for people to cover those types of things, and Pure Plays is one of the big ones that I'm always interested in giving people whale shares for writing about. So I know that you're guaranteed to get paid, and that I'm not going to overlook your work because I'm busy doing other things. And I don't have necessarily the time to curate as I would like to by hand. This is a means without me having to set up a bot and just statically let that bot replace me as a human. We can still have that human interaction and not lose that, because what are we looking at? These are social networks, right? They're not bot networks, they're social networks. So we should definitely, in my mind, make sure that we don't lose the humanity in it, and we value the humanity and try to leverage people's interactions to create that economy.
I see a lot of new activities here on Steam right now, especially around bots who are commenting other posts, and it's always like a nice post, I really learned something and so on. I think there's a couple of new bots now available on Steam that really move into that space.
Yeah, there's a lot of other cool projects that are going to go along with it that are going to help BitShares too. And then with EOS coming out, we're going to have God knows how many chains. And one thing I'm wanting to really work with the community on is us considering how we might be able to port BitShares over to EOS, where we could maybe have transaction fee free
Did
network.
you just died off, or is it my connection? My connection today is not so good.
Oh, my mic might have cut out. I'm looking forward to EOS and potentially porting to BitShares 3.0 using it, like Dan was saying. And it's something I would love if we would also consider and talk about. Maybe not this Hangout, or maybe next one, but we do have a lot of BitShares in that pool. And I think if BitShares was a huge investor in EOS, that's a really, really big deal for us, and we could set ourselves up to become the exchange for every DApp that's created on EOS. Just a thought.
Well, that's a big talk. Do you want to take it on now? Or maybe next time? Or
I don't know. It's up to you guys. I will gladly talk about it personally. To me, it makes perfect sense for us to be one of the biggest stakeholders in EOS, since BitShares is kind of at the foundation of it, right?
Yeah, I hear you. How are we doing on the rest of the agenda?
Well, we're at whale shares, so whale shares was the end of the agenda. But we have about 25 more minutes if anybody doesn't want to talk about anything like this or something else. Like we could talk about Seth Rich. We won't get into that. Oh, a DNC staffer who I think accidentally shot himself. No, he was mugged, but they didn't take his money and stuff. But he did die.
Who is he? What did you say? I didn't quite get everything you said.
Oh, he leaked a bunch of information about the DNC and all the stuff. He was like the head of IT for them, so he was in the perfect position to get all this secret stuff. And he found out that the Democratic Party was essentially intentionally stifling Bernie Sanders, and he was a big Bernie Sanders supporter. So he leaked all of their illegal activities, and he had an accident. Getting mugged and then shot in the back like 4 times. Went to the hospital alive. The mugger never took anything from him. The police came in, told the doctors they couldn't see him anymore, and then he died that night.
It sounds very similar to the. If anybody listens to the Corbett report, he just put out a report recently, hour-long podcast or so about the death of Martin Luther King, and it sounds very similar to that same modus of operandi as what took place back then. It was a shocking report. It was I highly recommend you listen to it. It's very good.
The gist of it is that the DNC tried to blame Russia on the leaks and to misdirect everybody's attention and to cause all kinds of misguided thoughts there when it was actually somebody within their own party who did the leak. And this way, nobody's being brought to justice. It's kind of like what's going on in BitShares Munich, in my opinion.
Well, it's something that we have to, I'll say this, we have to be very careful as these technologies grow, because we have been here from the very beginning, and we came here with a specific philosophy and trying to make the world a little bit better because of the technologies that we were sacrificing to try to help build, right? So I hope that
those are good points, but it seems to be, from my perspective, that that original vision and perspective about open source and just what our community represents, the principles and the philosophy behind why crypto at all, Bitcoin or anybody got started with this type of technology, wasn't to just make money. It was there was a philosophy behind it, and that seemed to be kind of getting watered down and lost with a lot of the newcomers, and that's to be expected, to be honest with you. I don't like it, but that's what I think is to be expected when you have more mainstream and more people. Because we're a diverse community, and anytime you have a diverse community, you're going to have differences of opinion, and so it's going to have an effect, no doubt.
Yeah, and it's. I just hope that we all individually remember that those philosophies and the vision of the future lives and dies with us still. Things might get watered down as new people come in and other people sell their stake to them and so on and so forth. But I hope that we'll always try to adhere to the considerations of really trying to help the people who are helping out and give everybody at least what they deserve. We're in a place now where, my God, BitShares can afford to pay everybody what they deserve, and the community, there should be nobody who's going without what they need, who's been working their butts off on this project for a while.
Can you hear me again?
Ken Code had absolutely no intention of selling his stakes in BitShares Munich. Some people tried to force him into it by cutting off his pay to feed his family. He had no intention of selling his stake. So let's not obfuscate things here.
Don't mix up BitShares stake and BitShares Munich stake. Those are two different things, and I have the impression that Fuzzy was talking about BitShares in general and not specifically BitShares Munich.
The development for BitShares was largely taking place in BitShares Munich. That's where the development has been taking place for quite a while.
Oh, I don't believe that. And I'm sure that's not entirely true.
Well, it is partially true. A lot of development was taking place in BitShares Munich. He had no intention of selling his stake.
So guys, since we are already talking about that, I think it's a good time to give all of you an update what is happening in BitShares Munich and BlockPay and so on. because I think a lot of people would be interested to know what is happening the last couple of weeks and where do we stand. And I would like to give a short update today so that we can stop the rumors, because they will not help anybody. And I think everybody is interested in keeping the waters calm, and especially to respect each other and to also follow the values we have here and that we all share in the BitShares community, to open source it, also respect each other and so on. So from my side, I can give you the updates so far that Ken, Rodrigo and I, we are working on a solution. We are in daily talks over email and so on with our lawyers to solve the problem. We have, although, the big problem on Ken's side that he has declined all of our offers we made. He also has fired his lawyer recently, and he did not show up any of the meetings we arranged with him. So it is very difficult to find a solution with him that would bring us all forward. It is quite difficult, but we are still working on it. And unfortunately, until we did not solve all these issues, most of the activities in BitShares Munich are on hold right now because there are several things that we need from Ken, especially in the range of IP that he did not deliver, where he did not deliver the proof that the company actually owns the IP, which is a very big problem for us because it means actually that BitShares Munich has products on the market that it doesn't own, because the IP rights has not been transferred from the developers to the company. That way, no marketing and no business development can take place because it's very simple. If you don't own it, you cannot promote it. So we are working with Ken on a solution here, and this is troubling for us because we really want to move forward. We want to deliver our promises. We want to deliver the products that we announced, especially all around Stealth, BlockPay, Echo, Smart Coins Wallet, and the further development of the BitShares blockchain. Right now, this is on pause until we could solve it. The topics of the salary are a separate matter. Once upon a time, I'm very thankful that you are here very vocal and you're very supportive, but you don't know the full details, and I cannot go any deeper into what is the matter of the salaries. But until we could not solve it, Ken is not really working for BitShares Munich right now. He is a shareholder, but he is not working on any products because he's not delivering what he should do.
He's the owner.
It doesn't matter. As an owner, you don't have a right on a salary. He is not working for BitShares Munich right now because he's not delivering what he's supposed to do. He's not following up with his job, and that is the big. And we are working on it. And I'm very positive that we will find a solution here. And yes, this is the current situation with BitShares Munich. We are working on a good solution for everybody, and I hope that we can solve the solution, or we can find a solution very soon. Meanwhile, I'm looking into new ways how to move forward with the development, and how also BitShares Munich can basically move forward in the correct way, because BitShares Munich has made a promise. It collected investor money. So the funds that we raised in August are not our private money, they are investor money. And it is my biggest interest, especially as the CEO of the company, to take care of these funds in the best manner and to protect them and to use them for developing the products that we announced. So in this way, of course, that is not private money. So this is very important for everybody to know. And this is also what is my biggest goal right now, to do the best for the company so that we can deliver what we announced, and that we can move forward also with Stealth. I mean, Stealth is also a highly discussed topic. A lot of people need it. We have a lot of clients. I can name 5 to 10 clients already who want to have Stealth. Among them are a couple of big banks who were super excited to talk to me about Stealth and to say, like, wow, this is amazing. I really would love to see the development and use it, because the other alternatives are not satisfying. So Stealth is a very, very important topic, but it also needs to be discussed because Stealth is a sensitive topic. And of course, when we are providing Stealth services for example, we need to know how that all works. So here is a lot of clarification necessary, also for the BitShares platform in general. If you have to do a hard fork, I don't know. I'm not a technical expert here. But if you have to do a hard fork to integrate stuff into BitShares, then I think the whole BitShares community needs to know how that all works and what are the impacts on the blockchain itself. I mean, I'm not only the CEO of BitShares Munich, but I'm also a committee member. And as an active committee member of the BitShares blockchain, I also have responsibility against all of my supporters, all of the people who vote for me as a committee member. And we want to grow the platform. This has always have been my goal, to grow the BitShares platform with whatever I can do. I'm working on that full time, as all of you know. So this is for me the most important thing. Ayash Ferry, regarding your question, if you started a new company, no, I didn't start any new company. I'm moving forward with the companies I have right now, and I do that in the best manner I can.
Oh, what is Echo Industries in Germany? Is that a new company?
Echo Industries is our sole salary company. It's a company that is in charge of all the marketing and of all the business development activities.
Well, I'll be writing about these things in Steemit over the coming days, so be careful.
Well, I want to say that regardless of the aspects that some people might be upset about with this, I want to reiterate that in every community, there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be misunderstandings. There are always going to be things that don't work out perfectly. One thing that I love and I appreciate about these Hangouts and this community is that people who are holding these tokens, they know what's going on in the ecosystem. They can join up and find out. And the people who are players in the ecosystem are coming out and talking about this stuff, at the very least, making themselves available for questions from people who are concerned and might not know all the details, might not be directly in the middle of it. But it's important that people get to voice these concerns, and that the people who are working on the chain and doing different projects have the ability to answer these questions. So I want to just say thank you, everybody, because this is something, even with this is something that most chains do not offer.
I think that the BitShares community is a very vibrant community, and that there's a lot of different ideas and projects that are now starting to come to BitShares. And I really have to tell you, I mean, like when I was on the street on all these different events and conferences and so on, the people their mind is blown when they hear about BitShares. And I think this is a great thing. We have a great toolbox. We have a lot of opportunities. And now we really have to focus on these new opportunities, on these new projects that we could all start building. I think we already see with the new Blockchain Explorer that is coming up. We also see with new other projects that are coming from OpenLedger's side that the BitShares platform is growing. And then we're going to have more diverse people, and I think that is pretty good. And I'm very happy to basically be part of the community, and will also always open for questions. And as always, you can always also reach out to me directly in Telegram or on Skype, any other channel for further questions about our current case. I can just say so far that the last weeks we have been working actively to solve the problems, because as you know, the summer is coming and we really would like to move forward with the products that we do. The market is very hot right now, especially for digital currencies. The markets are bubbling, and especially there's high demand for solutions that we have. And I would also, I would like to really move forward with what we have, but we first have to also come to solve the problems we have in-house on our side.
I'm glad you're willing to answer questions. Here's one for you. Who's Konstantin Garibaldi?
Konstantin is an investor that I met a couple of weeks ago, who basically is very interested in what we do at BitShares. He really likes the idea, he likes the technology, he loves the vision and the passion. And he's actually somebody who's very generous, because I met him on a blockchain event, on the opening parties here for a couple of Bitcoin meetups. For a new one. And what I really liked on him is that he's running a lot of schools for kids in Nepal, in Asia. He's also a very big bicycle fan, and for him, what is really interesting is the topic of creating tokens and to build products and businesses based on the BitShares blockchain. So we were talking a lot, but when he looked deeper into what we were doing at BlockPay and so on, he discovered that we have a problem with some of the members, and in this way we saw that there's no way how we can move forward at the current state. So the best thing I could do to not lose this interesting person who really wants to do good is to hand it over to Fabian, to Xerox, and they are working now on a couple of projects. I'm not really familiar with all of this stuff. I just made an introduction because I think they have a lot of synergies, and with a couple of the projects that Konstantin is planning to do, I think they are perfect for the BitShares platform. They're perfect to add a lot of value to it, and I'm looking forward to their start and what they're building. But yeah. So
could you put a link to some of his charities and things like that so I can find out a little bit more about the man, because he sounds very interesting.
That stuff is not your business, actually. He's my partner, and we are building something. This is a matter of me and my partner. This has nothing to do with BitShares Munich. And actually, if you try to ask him about BitShares Munich, he's really not amused about it, because it has cost him a lot of money, a lot of time to be, well, let's say, not satisfied with what was delivered by to him. So the whole Konstantin matter is a non-issue here currently, and certainly it's not an issue of BitShares Munich or anyone that has any problem with BitShares Munich or BlockPay. Those two things.
It probably didn't cost him as much money and time as I have put into BitShares Munich. I put in quite a bit, so I'm an interested shareholder, and he sounds like a fascinating man who has all these charities. He must be at least as nice a person as the Clintons, who have big charities too. So we should all get to know him.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I have no clue that you have actually invested in BitShares Munich. All I know that you might have invested in Block is another thing. It's not share of a company. You should know that when you did your due diligence on that token. And when he wants to be introduced to the community, he does that by himself. This is not my thing to do. It's entirely on him.
Okay, we'll get to the bottom of this eventually if you don't want to talk about it now.
Well, there is no discussion between us, between those and Konstantin. This is totally not an issue with you, because you have not invested in my company, nor in Konstantin's company, nor in the joint venture that we have started now.
There's a hostile takeover attempt on BitShares Munich, and I'm trying to find out where it's coming from.
Again, BitShares Munich and the company we are setting up entirely two things. Konstantin initially wanted to actually invest a couple millions of dollars into BitShares Munich. He has transferred a lot of money into he exchanged a lot of money with other company into euro so that he can invest into BitShares Munich. And he was not very pleased after he was doing his due diligence to find out that he basically cannot go any step further and cannot be associated with BitShares Munich at all.
That's and a couple $1 million of flashed in front of people's eyes, put stars in their eyes, and they see very little else lately, it seems.
Yeah, the fast game to get rich quick.
Well, that is, again, this is a problem that I will have. I'm not interested in getting rich quick. And again, this is not on the topic of BitShares Munich. This is an investor that I have secured for what we are going to do. And this will benefit the BitShares community. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. And, well, he will introduce himself when he feels it is the right time to do so.
Who started BitShares Munich? And who would know? And who owns the majority of it now? And who would know what the purpose of the company is? The person who started it and owns the majority? Doesn't that make sense to you?
And the initial investors, like once upon a time.
Well, I think there are a lot of different information and point of views about who started BitShares Munich. From my point of view, I started together with Ken because I was registering the company together with him. We started on the first draft. I invested also my private money into the first products. We raised the first money together with Ken. We are working since 2015 on the concept and the vision of BitShares Munich already. So this is an old grown company already. and there is no hostile takeover taking place. That is not the case. We are looking for a solution that works for everybody, that works for me, that works for Ken, and that also works for Rodrigo. And this is what we are working on right now.
I was investing in Ken's project before he met you, Chris.
So you invested in ePlug?
I invested in Ken and his ideas and his hopes for his children.
All right. So
let me hook in here just to clarify. So we are talking here about a company. I'm not sure what goes on in this company entirely. This is not transparent to me, and it's not supposed to be transparent to me because it's a business thing, and some things are to be internal, including finance. As for the legal stuff in Germany, there's very clear rules about how to deal with funds, where they come from, and the shares who own them. And the only thing that matters under law is what is stated in those documents. So if people have invested in, for instance, if people have bought BlockPay, that does not give them a share in BitShares Munich. If they have a share in BitShares Munich, then they have a share in BitShares Munich, and then they can make use of the basically all the features that these company, the law gives them in combination with those companies. For instance, they can ask for a new shareholder meeting, which can then be held and will give the shareholders some more information about what's going on in the company. That is not true for those that hold BlockPay, because those only hold a token, a profit-sharing token of some kind, and that does not give them any rights in the company. And as long as people give money to some other people, that is not contractually clear what they get in return. There's nothing stated in any official document, and that is the only one that really counts. That's the same, by the way, for my company. That's why I'm pretty familiar about all this kind of stuff. I have no clue what's going on in BitShares Munich, but that's the basic law that holds true for all of the companies, at least in Germany. That includes Echo, and most of that is also true for the company BitShares Munich, which is located in Denmark. I would expect because it's also in Europe.
Well, you mentioned the German law, and I'm no expert in it, so I'm just going to say that from what I've been talking to other people about it, though, is that there's very, very strict laws regarding employee payments as well, and being cut off. So that's another issue.
That is true. If you have an employment contract, you need to be paid according to the contract, and you can only be fired according to the contract with some, what's it called in English, some deadlines that you need to fulfill in order to get someone, leave the company as in, not be paid anymore. Whether there actually is a employment contract, or whether Ken has been, part of a, I don't know, kind of contract that is just giving him a right to earn money from an invoice or something, I have no clue. I would suspect that since Chris is the CEO and he will face legal trouble if he doesn't follow the German law, I would suspect that there actually never was a employment contract, or that he has closed it according to the rules in that contract.
Some people are men of their word, and they don't hide behind the law. Some people go by their word. Some people have hearts and souls, and they're not.
Well, how about this? Didn't Ken promise us a network for stealth Christmas last year? Is that worth something to you? Well, I'm not going to play games here. I'm interested in what's written on paper, and that is what holds true. And written on paper is that Chris is the CEO. You can look it up, yeah. And he has to manage that company. And what he also gets is the trouble. If anything happens and goes wrong with BitShares Munich, he is in trouble. And I am pretty sure that he wants to stay in Germany. So he needs to act according to law. And if that's not good for you as a, pseudo shareholder, because I'm not sure whether you actually have any shares in BitShares Munich. If you are affected by that, you can go against him by law. And that is a right that Ken Code can do as well. If he feels that if he thinks, or if he has a contractual right to be employed by BitShares, or even has a contract to be employed by BitShares Munich, then he can go to law and say, I want my salary. As easy as that. There's no point in us asking friends and community to go and do some strange words and posts on Steemit against the CEO of a company, because the people that have a contract have a right to earn salary and those that do not. And if the people that have a contract don't earn their salary, they can go to court or get a lawyer and do everything right. Not like something that is a little muddy. If you deal with Germans, you will find out that those people are very well correct, and they usually do stuff as it is written on paper.
Okay, guys, I have really one short question. Who is now responsible for the products like Echo, Stealth, BlockPay? Is it Ken or is someone else?
I would say it's BitShares Munich EVS, because it's a company that is associated with those products.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
Like in any company, there are different roles for different responsibilities. So Chris has executive CEO responsibilities and also responsibilities for the money. And Ken has responsibilities for managing the technical team. And regardless of whether or not the employment agreement between Ken and his contractors is sufficient or not, those are the laws according to German law. According to German law, those are the roles. And so Xerox is absolutely correct. The BitShares Munich would be the one that would be the responsible party, and that would fall on Chris's shoulders, just like he just described.
That's right. And also it's actually the CEO's responsibility to please the shareholders. So the shareholders, from my point of view, and I haven't checked this with any lawyer, those that have bought BlockPay actually have bought into a promise made by the company. And since Chris is the leader of the company, contractual leader, the CEO, he's actually in the position that he has to deliver something to the shareholders. Whether he does that by hiring some developers on his own, or whether he's doing it by delegating the work to Ken Code, is up to him, entirely up to him.
But you just finished saying a few minutes ago that BlockPay holders are not shareholders. Ken owns 51% of the shares. Ken owns 51% of the shares, and I own a large chunk of BlockPay. So both ways, we are interested in solving this from both perspectives.
My statements were correct in that people that have BlockPay don't have a share in BitShares Munich, but they have bought into a promise that has been made by BitShares Munich. That's two different things.
I think I would let's summarize it shortly. Paul, I know that you are one of the biggest BlockPay investors, and you're a long-term investor in BitShares Munich, and you're always supporting us in all the products that we build. And I also know that you have a strong interest in Stealth, as many have as well. For me, Stealth is a very important feature, and I really want to bring it on the market. This is a personal goal as well. Right now, from the BitShares Munich side, it is on hold. If you are funding and paying Ken privately to privately develop that, then that is on your own risk. Here, however, we have a couple of legal problems coming up because Ken is using IP that is not disclosed, that is owned by the company, and that is owned not by him personally. So here we have to very carefully observe what kind of technologies Ken is using from the company side and that he's using from the private side. So right now, this is also an area that is very gray. And I know that all of us want to see the products, that we want to use it. But I would also kindly ask everybody to give us a little bit more time to solve the problems and to find the right solutions. This is a current update from our side. I thank everybody for participating, your questions, for your time, for your interest. And I'm looking forward to get a couple of more updates next week, also about the BitShares Munich topic. I think it's important that everybody knows what we are doing, how we move forward. For us, the most important thing is BitShares Munich collected funds from investors like you guys. And for us, the most important thing is that we keep the promises, that we deliver the products. And if it's Stealth, if it's Echo, if it's BlockPay, it's all of those that we want to bring on the market. And that in the matter that is the best, the most cost efficient, and the product that works. Until so far, we had technical problems with this part, and now we're looking into new ways, new technologies, new ways how to move forward. And this is, I think, for all of us the most important thing, because we want to support the BitShares community.
Can I make a
question?
Small comment?
Actually, guys, we're gonna have to wrap it up. I apologize. We can keep this going all day long. Unfortunately, we have another Hangout that we're going to have to start running, and we are a little bit past the time when that's supposed to start. So with that said, I want to say thank you to everybody who is here. I want to thank everybody who joined in on the conversation. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to let this get a little bit to go wading into the deep end on a lot of the stuff that's going on. What I will say is I hope that Ken and the team of BitShares Munich, they all figure something out that is beneficial for all. And until we know all the details, I'm going to kind of just withhold judgment because I respect both sides. So I greatly do appreciate the participation from the community and the BitShares Munich people in this. So with that said, thank you for joining up, and we will see you guys next Friday for the next BitShares Hangout. Same time, same place, and we'll go ahead and we'll get started with Beyond Bitcoin next. Go ahead and take a couple minutes if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to sign up the guest book. We don't have the actual guest book, but we're going to do an ad hoc version where you can kind of give me your accounts. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that now, and we'll get started after.